guys, Bamboo here with a sort of experimental stream this evening, because we're gonna take a look at piece of power routing and piece of power in general at Link's Awakening DX Speedrun. So, gonna get started right away. This is gonna be so much fun. So first thing you have to know is a piece of power drops after you killed 30 enemies consecutively. It increases your movement speed by 25%, doubles your damage, and gives you a knockback effect, so needless to say that's something you want to have in a speedrun. The acorns drop after you didn't get hit 12 times in a row, so that's like High Xander. So that's more like a thing you don't want to have, the acorns, because don't get hit 12 times in a row. You pick up the acorn. The acorn gives you like a shield for 3 hits, and then you don't take damage, or like it reduces your damage by half a heart. Both the pop and the acorn, so pop is short for piece of power, of course, acorn is the mighty acorn or whatever. Pop is short for piece of power. Both effects wear off after you got hit 3 times in a row. Dropping into pits doesn't count to that effect, wearing off. So that's just right at the start, something you want to have, you want to know. And in case you're wondering, this is like a RAM watch by BizHawk emulator, so we can actually see where our counter is. And just maybe get some more basic knowledge out there with piece of power and acorns. So you see every item, not every item, but every enemy I kill, my piece of power counter increases. Sadly, Bow Wow was greedy and he ate that guy on top, so that also counts towards the piece of power. As you can see, I'm going through here, killing enemies and whatnot. Everything increases my piece of power counter. And it's very easy, nice to watch. Once I get hit, my acorn counter gets reduced to 0. So I take a hit there, it goes back to 0. So, once I don't get hit for 12 times in a row, acorn will drop. Now let's see if we can actually do this. No, I can't, obviously. This is getting really tough with Bow Wow fucking around here. So whatever, let's just try to get the piece of power, I guess. Or maybe like just refreshing that every now and then. Okay, I guess it's easier that way. So, let's see. 10, so now I'm at 29 enemies, so next enemy I kill should be a piece of power. Come on. And there it is. You see the counter drops down to 0, and I get a piece of power drop. Oh, but oh no! That's like, you saw the counter for the acorn go down to 0. And that's another thing you should know right from the start. If I pick up the acorn, then I got the acorn effect, but gladly, like, this does basically nothing. Like, I can take more hits, take no damage and whatnot. You don't want to have it. Fuck acorns, they're really needless in a speedrun. And if I pick up the piece of power now, I got the piece of power effect. So the acorn effect wears off once I pick up the piece of power, and I get the piece of power boost, which is faster movement speed, as you can see. I guess it's 25%. I get double damage, so I kill these guys with 1 hit, and you get the enormous knockback effect. So that's like just basic knowledge with pieces of power and acorns. There are some weird enemies in this game. not counting towards piece of power. You can see them on the screen, and I'm also gonna like post a picture on Imgur, or whatever it is called, with a higher resolution picture of the weird enemies towards the piece of power and the acorn. Also noteworthy, once you enter another area, so a dungeon, leave a dungeon, enter a cave or leave a cave, the effect wears off. So you can hear me entering the cave, the effect wears off immediately, and I'm back to normal Link without the piece of power. So, how can we utilize that in a speedrun? Being in dungeons, when you enter stairs and do transitions, that doesn't count as a aerial change. I just call that aerial change for now. And so that's, in most dungeons you want to get piece of power right from the start. So you can utilize the movement speed bonus and the double damage plus knockback effect in dungeons. So I guess that's enough theory for now. Yeah, so like basically every enemy I kill, it increases the piece of power counter and also the acorn counter. Both is something you should like have in mind when you do speedruns, because I mean, acorn drops are usually not bad, but they can really screw you over. Because also you have to know, once you picked up a acorn, let's try to replicate that here. Another vital knowledge. Ah, shit. It's so hard to not get hit 12 times in a row consecutively. I'm not gonna take that piece of power. But I'm gonna take that acorn. So let's see if I will be able to do this. Oh, that is really not cool to do with Bow Wow jumping around here. So, basically, I hope I can show this. No, I'm too dumb to show this, so you gotta, like, go with the theory. As long as I have, maybe I can show this the other way around. Okay, great. As long as I have the piece of power, and there should be an acorn drop, the acorn won't drop. Does that make sense? I'm not sure. So as long as I have the piece of power, once I kill 12 enemies in a row without getting hit, there should be an acorn spawn. But you can see like the counter flipped from 12 to 2 again. Like it's a modular, you know, it's a model thing. It's like the clock, after 12 it goes back to 0 and whatnot. That is because as long as you have the piece of power effect or the acorn effect, there are no more piece of power or acorn drops. But as you like saw before, as long as you don't have the piece of power or the acorn, there actually might be the chance that you see an acorn and the piece of power on the same screen at the same time. So I guess that's all the tech behind Piece of Power and Acorn. I guess we're just gonna do a run. And if you got any chat, if you got any questions, feel free to ask in chat. So let's just reset that. Oh, also, any resets you saw, reset the count towards 0. So that's also with deaths. Same thing with deaths in this game. Oh, also another thing I wanted to showcase here. Noteworthy, cutscenes also count as enemies. You saw Bow Wow eating the cutscene there. It also increases your Piece of Power counter as well as your Acorn counter by 1. If you don't know what that Bow Wow can eat cutscenes, then you should learn the route first. Okay, so never mind. Reset the game. And... ugh, golly. Okay, whatever. I'm gonna fast forward lots of scenes in here. But I'm gonna make save states every now and then. Jo, voll rüber, grüß dich. Okay. Ah, shit, Sander. I'm sorry, man. I don't know if there might be any new information for you. But we'll see about that. So we get the sword. How did that turn into man? Ah, okay, yeah, autocorrect. So basically what you have to know, once you get the sword, you can, like, kill as many enemies as you want. Because we're gonna get killed by the shopkeeper later in the run. So it doesn't really matter if you kill lots of enemies. Like, you shouldn't kill too much. I mean, there might be also acorns dropping here right at the start, but like usually, it's not that big a deal. Yeah, like that will be the bot on YouTube and Twitch. So if you gotta like, if you have to go with Xander, I'll see you later. Because you won't kill 30 enemies before the shopkeeper kills you, because once the shopkeeper kills you, it resets both counters. And also we're getting hit by the moblin pretty soon, for the moblin skip. Yo, tutorial hype Dresden. Disclude. Also have a good evening, man. Yeah. Like, one more enemy kill and I would have the acorn, but gonna get over here. And acorn goes back to 0, as we wish. Oh, I haven't done that for a while on console, on emulator. Okay. Get the owl skip, leave the screen. So usually you don't kill 12 enemies before moblin skip. And you also don't kill 30 enemies before getting out of the town. So actually I checked that before, Disclude, and turns out they don't. At least as far as my research went. I might be mistaken though, I'm not sure. But since Bombites with a countdown. Ah, okay. Like, I only killed them with a sword. Maybe it's the insta-death that counts towards Piece of Power. But, like, since the Bombites with a countdown don't appear in the actual route these days, it's, like, not noteworthy. So, back to the road. Get the tail key, get the shovel. And now we get killed by the shopkeeper, and you see immediately as we get killed, the pop drop, the pop counter switches over to 0. So we buy bombs one time. It's okay, Disclude, man. Like, you know, I'm open-minded and whatnot. Also, I really don't fucking care since the Bombites with the countdown. Bombites with the countdown don't appear in the current route. So we get everything we need. And head down to Dungeon 1, which is Tail Cave. And really, like, I liked, when I did practice on this, I like to do save states here, because this is where your piece of power route basically starts. And yeah, like, this is also really some advanced game tech incoming. I like to kill 1, 2, 3 enemies here. And enter Dungeon 1 with that. And some more theory on that. You have to have a predetermined route on which enemies you want to kill and on which enemies you don't want to kill. That's very crucial to the piece of power route, to have a predetermined route on which enemies to kill and which enemies you don't want to kill, because that actually adds up on your piece of power counter, which will drop the piece of power at the appropriate location you want to have. So I'm killing 3 enemies before D1 and entering D1 with a -1 counter. Like, I have a predetermined route on which enemies to kill. And I also like, there are certain things, there are certain RNG kills, and later we get Bow Wow that also influences your piece of power counter. And like this random variable, I like to go against that random variable with a plus-minus counter. The plus-minus counter helps me keep track on whether I'm still on the piece of power route I want to be. I like to go into Dungeon 1 with a -1. Like, that's just a number for me to remember whether I should like do some more kills or not. The -1 is just a reminder for me that I need like 30 kills before D2. We want to have the piece of power in Dungeon 2 to drop. So I kill, like, maybe I shouldn't talk too much about that. Like let's just look how that will work out. So my predetermined route is don't kill any enemies in here at all. Also noteworthy, when you bomb enemies into a pit, they don't count towards the piece of power. Like you see, I pushed the enemy into the pit there, and it doesn't count towards the piece of power. Which is important to know with another thing that might come up. Also, me dropping into the pit doesn't count towards a piece of power. Okay, whatever. Go in here, we get those 4 fucking keys. About the acorn counter, I really don't care that much. So we got 7 here. And still, I still have in the back of my head during the run, I still know I'm -1. Why is that? Maybe I should explain that thoroughly. So you saw me entering in here. Sometimes that little fucker there, he gets in your way. And if you walk over him, you get stuck on him. So sometimes you want to kill that guy. If that guy gets in your way, don't hesitate, kill that guy. That guy also counts towards your piece of power, so that's actually why I get 1 additional kill, which will like put my inner piece of power counter back to 0. Like I mentioned, I entered the dungeon with -1. So actually I get 1 free shot in D1. Let's call it that. I get 1 free shot. If RNG decides that that guy will jump into my way, I kill him. And that puts my piece of power in a piece of power counter back to 0. I can also use my one free shot somewhere else. For example, with that fucker up there. Like that guy, he also, like that guy who jumped up here, that's not a problem, but that guy might also get in your way, so that's another one of those free shots you like can use. And the next one is the spiky heads. So usually it's like that. You kill both of those guys, one drops dead, counts towards the piece of power, one drops into the pit, the other one drops into the pit, doesn't count towards the piece of power. If I would have killed both of those guys, I would have had like my free shot, and that would have put my inner piece of power counter back to 0. So, till now, I still have my free shot. And I only killed the predetermined enemies I want to kill. Get the feather. Don't mind about your acorn counter. That's just like nonsense. You don't need to take care about the acorn till you get to dungeon 2. Go through here. Go through here. And I still got the number, pulling the bamboo again, what the fuck. I'm not used to do these on console anymore, this is really pathetic. Is there something wrong? Okay, now it works. Yeah, so I'm still in the back of my head, I got the number -1. And what is sometimes happening is that you don't kill that keys with jumping over that block, but I killed the keys, so everything is still normal. Yeah, you're right, Xander, this is pathetic. So, I didn't kill one of the 2 mini-zolds. I didn't kill one of the spiky heads. So I didn't use my free shot yet in Dungeon 1. So I still got the -1 in the back of my head. But I want to get the -1 back to 0 once I leave Dungeon 1. So I get through here and I simply kill that guy. So that is putting my inner piece of power counter, like the counter I have to take care of while I'm doing the run. That is putting my inner piece of power counter. I just call that IPPC from now on. My IPPC, my inner piece of power counter. My IPOPC, inner piece of power counter. My IPOPC is back to 0. I wouldn't have killed that guy, of course, if I already took my free shot before on killing one of the mini-salts. Hi, Mr. Corrupted. So, actually, also don't really. That's the first time I realized I killed 10 enemies entering the mini boss right away, because I really don't care about that thing. I got my predetermined route. I follow that route to kill all the enemies probably. So, go through here, kill the mini boss. And actually now there might be differences between speedrunners. Because I like to take a hit from Moldorm here. And at best, every time. He didn't kill me, okay. Like most of the time, he didn't hit me. That's what I wanted to say. Most of the time, he does hit me. Now he didn't hit me. And that fact might be crucial for further upcomings. Yeah, that's interesting. Like, you can also use 11 kills into the mini-boss. That's alright also. Like, it really doesn't matter that much. Like, you can shift around +1, +2 enemies. It really doesn't matter that much. I'm just gonna show, like, what I do. go through this owl text here. And on the next screen I like to kill all 3 enemies. Okay, I missed one. That puts my IPOPC back to -1. So my IPOPC is back to... I just call that IPC from now on. Inner piece of power counter. My IPC is back to -1. My predetermined kill route says I have to kill both of those guys. And that one guy here. Both of those guys. And all 3 guys here. I didn't get hit from Moldorm, that is why the acorn dropped here. If I took a hit from Moldorm, the acorn would have dropped with the first enemy in the Moblin Cave, which we are about to enter. So it's really crucial, not crucial, but important to remember whether you did take a hit from Moldorm or not. Also, my IPC tells me I missed one Octorok outside of Dungeon 1. So my IPC is -1. I got 2 enemies in the next screen I can kill to put my IPC back to 0. So actually, if I missed all 3 Octoroks outside of D1, that would have been a problem. But it happens very rarely. I only missed one Octorok, so it's no biggie. I got 2 Moblins in the upcoming screen I can kill to fulfill my piece of power dreams in Dungeon 2. By the mini Moldorm more often than by Moldorm. Yeah, that might happen, of course. It is also crucial that there is a piece of a acorn drop. I want the acorn to drop here or in the Moblin Cave. If there's no acorn drop, then I fucked something up. So it's also crucial that you don't get hit on the way here, and basically you don't get hit the whole way till the acorn drops. After the acorn drops, you can take hits, it's no problem. But till the acorn drops, you don't want to get hit. At least I don't want to get hit in my routing. So, my IPC tells me -1. I drop the acorn, that's good. So I have to kill one more enemy here. I take this one. GG. So my IPC is back to 0. And that's totally fine. I get in here. You see, my acorn drop is at 3. So... yeah, just a reminder. If I wouldn't have taken a hit, I'm sorry, this is bad English. If I wouldn't have taken a hit from Moldorm, if I would have taken a hit from Moldorm, this wouldn't have been a heart, but the acorn. Just remember that when you do my kind of routing. Go through here, kill those guys. Preferably in a faster way than I just did. Oh. Oh, fuck. I have to get my mouse out of the way. Like, thank God this is not a speedrun. This is really pathetic. Also, I don't mind about my acorn counter anymore. Oh. Also, noteworthy what I didn't mention earlier. Acorn drops do not count towards a piece of power. That's really crucial. That is also why you want to have that acorn drop on the way to the Moblin Cave. Or in the first room of the Moblin Cave. Because that one acorn doesn't count towards piece of power. If the acorn drops somewhere else, it fucks up your routing. So, my IPC tells me I'm at 0, and the pop counter does tell me 27. So where does that lead us? Jesus, this is a really bad showcase of how to do a speedrun at LADX.
Nice.
Yo, thanks for the host, Zatox. So I'm 3 kills away from my piece of power. That means Bow Wow can eat 2 guys outside of D2. Because I want to have the piece of power with the first or the second enemy in D2. It happens very rarely that you that Bow Wow eats 3 enemies outside of D2. Those enemies being the fish here and 2 of the flowers in the screen above. But usually he eats 1 or 2 enemies before Dungeon 2. So my IPC tells me I'm at 0. He eats 1, 2, and that's it. I'm in Dungeon 2 with 29 kills. Perfect condition. Conditions are perfect. Light those torches, and with the first enemy I kill, I get the piece of power. You also saw with the second enemy I killed there was immediately one. My pop counter immediately increased by 1. So that's how you get the... Oh, and shit. I maybe should have showed the other scenario. No. So yeah, like I got a call to your imagination. Like if Bow Wow wouldn't have eaten 2 enemies, but 1, my piece of power counter would have been at 28. So the piece of power would have dropped with a second enemy there. Would have been no problem. Piece of power would have dropped anyway with that guy. Yeah. Like I said, if Bow Wow was eating 3 enemies, which happens very rarely. If Bow Wow eats 3 enemies outside of D2, it's just rip run. Like, there's nothing much you can do. I got my predetermined kill route. That guy doesn't show up in it, so I move on. I'm always killing 1 keys in here. Oh, Jesus. And I move on. Don't kill any enemies in here. But kill the miniboss, of course. And noteworthy, you will see once this miniboss dies. Minibosses also count towards a piece of power and the acorn. But, important fact, pieces of power, nor the acorn, the piece of power nor the acorn is able to drop in a boss room or a mini boss room. So you really should take care that your piece of power drop or acorn, like you're not going for acorns, but piece of power. Your piece of power drops shouldn't be in mini boss or boss rooms. That's something you don't want to have. So we're going on. I was killing that guy here. And oh shit, another game tag I should have explained. And that is, I called it the kill delay. So I'm killing that keys and I'm leaving the room immediately. What the fuck? It didn't count towards my piece of power counter. Yeah, most notably the D4 dungeon mini boss is somewhat infamous for unrecognized piece of power drops. So what I wanted to show you guys is also I killed the keys and now it counted towards piece of power, but killed the keys, left the room, shit, piece of power counter didn't count. And again, not. You can see the keys is also spawning again, even though I killed it already. That is because the game recognizes enemies as... The game only recognizes enemies as being killed once the animation is gone. You can see that here. As long as the kill animation went over, it didn't count towards a piece of power. As soon as it like went away, and obviously this one dropped a rupee, you saw it counting towards a piece of power. So that's really important to know. If you like killing enemies, okay. If you're killing enemies and you leave the screen before they drop dead and before their kill animation flashes away, they don't count towards a piece of power. That is really crucial to know that with that kill. Because if you do that super fast and you enter this room to the left before the enemy, the keys right there, drops dead, it doesn't count towards a piece of power. So sometimes you can see me wait just a split second there before entering that room, just to make sure that the keys is dead. Those ghosts leaving the room, they don't count towards a piece of power. So, don't mind them. Don't kill that keys, just move away from that keys. And we got the first weird piece of power creature in here. That is the pulse voice. It does not count towards a piece of power. That's crucial to know when you route your piece of power. But weirdly, it counts towards the acorn, which we will see when we finish this room. Oh. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Fuck the acorn. Only have to care about the piece of power. So, killing more people in here. Not people. Like you saw the acorn drop rice in there. Also, in case you're wondering, it is not allowed to speedrun this game with the RAM watch that shows you when the piece of power is gonna drop or not. So, just in case you were wondering about that, you're not allowed to track your piece of power or acorn drop during a speedrun. You gotta do that in your head. Yeah. Well, it's like, thanks for reminding that, Xander. It's like noteworthy, basically with everything. Like if you fail, if you like get away from your predetermined kill route, you always should keep in mind that you might kill additional enemies that also count towards a piece of power. So we got Dungeon 2 boss, he's just a fucking pushover. Sorry for cussing. We grab his bottle. And we kill him. And as you saw, the boss didn't count towards a piece of power. Important to know. Mini-bosses count towards a piece of power, except for the one mini-boss, which is not really a mini-boss, but the Amos, the guy that holds the dungeon 6 key. He doesn't count towards a piece of power. So just keep that in mind if you route your piece of power. So, a important fact there. 4 to 7. That is the number you want to know when you route your piece of power. Because that is the usual amount of enemies that Bow Wow will eat on your way to Dungeon 3. Gonna make a save state here. He always eats, maybe I gotta like explain this a little more thoroughly. There are 4 mandatory enemies that will be eaten by Bow Wow and 3 additional enemies that will be eaten by Bow Wow. That makes the number 4 to 7. Yo, Xander, have a good night, man. You'll watch the VOD. It'll be there, don't worry. One additional enemy would be one of these flowers. One of the mandatory enemies would have been that fish right there. So I'm either 1 or 2 enemies. Oh, gosh. So it's either 1 or 2 enemies. There's another additional enemy right here. He's eating that guy, okay. So that was... by the way, Bow Wow never eats these guys. So if you're routing your piece of power, don't worry about those guys. Those guys and the Zoras, the water creatures, these enemies, they don't... They can't be eaten by Bow Wow. So we got 2 mandatory, 3 and 1 additional enemy already. If you jump here and you move here, Bow Wow will never eat that guy, but Bow Wow will always eat that guy. I'm curious why he didn't eat that guy. And if you enter like that, Bow Wow always eats that guy. So those are our 4 mandatory kills. It's like the 2 guys in the 2 guys in the holes and the fish. I can't remember. Oh yeah, there will be another. Like 2 guys in the holes. We got the fish, the 2 guys in the holes, and that guy. That guy also always gets eaten. Sometimes he eats at that flying Octorok right there. So if you do it the way I do, that was a little bit messy. Let's see if I can show this again. Because I'm just really that bad with explaining. This is a tutorial, right, Kravon? Man, I really wanna play your ROM hack, man. I'm triggered. And this looks great. So additional enemy number 1, one of these flowers. Sometimes Bow Wow is fucking greedy and he eats 2, but if he eats some flower, it's usually 1. Additional enemy number 1. Oh shit. Mandatory enemy number 1. As you can see, he always eats that guy if I enter the screen like that. Additional enemy number 2. He never eats those guys. And that was mandatory enemy number 2. Like mandatory, since he always gets eaten by Bow Wow. Mandatory enemy number 3 coming up. He always eats that guy. And we got mandatory enemy number 4 in here, and that's additional enemy number 3 right there. So he always eats that guy. Oh, I got the acorn drop right there. How about that? Whatever. Doesn't really matter that much with the acorn there. Like, you just like should have a feeling on how much Bow Wow was eating and whatnot. Yo, DL Darkling, thanks so much for the host. So I'm already like getting too deep into this. Thanks, grüß dich. I don't really have a -1. So my IPC, my inner piece of power counter, is sort of on break for now. Teach me rules to skip. I will eventually. I just like to sort of keep track on how much Bauer was eating and if I had a acorn drop. Because that acorn drop was like -1, like acorns don't count towards a piece of power, so that reduced my piece of power counter, that acorn drop. So I just like, you know, it's sort of a feeling you're going with here, like at least for me it is. Like if Bauer wasn't eating a lot of those enemies, and once again, 4 to 7, that's a number you wanna remember if you do the route like I did. If he ate all 7 enemies, then you're totally fine in D3. If he only ate 4 enemies and you got additional acorn drops on the way to Dungeon 3, you might wanna like look into killing some extra enemies in D3. And here it is. The most fun dungeon ever. Dungeon 3. Oh. As you can see on the screen, those guys, they don't count towards a piece of power. So after killing that room, we will be at 14. So we got 2 mandatory kills here, plus 4 mandatory kills. And now we get into the optional stuff. So if Bauer would have eaten only 4 enemies, and I got the acorn, that would have reduced my pop drop by a large amount. That's Red Dragon. Crewbomb. So, where was I? Like, you'll figure it out, but I want to show you my free optional enemies. I got free optional enemies in Dungeon 3. First of those optional enemies are these 2 guys. Like, you can just go through the room like this and leave them alone. You can also do it like this, buffer sort and... No, actually I guess I buffer sort before. And just kill them like on your way. Now I guess I do it like that. I jump here and jump here. Like, whatever. You'll figure out a quick way to kill those guys. Just make sure you don't lose any time killing them. Because, like, you shouldn't lose time killing those guys. But since Bauer did eat some extra stuff, and I got the acorn drop, I don't want to have 2 additional enemies I kill. I only want to have 1 additional enemy I kill, and that 1 enemy, that is that keys. So that is the 3rd additional enemy for me in the dungeon. Like, if I go through here like this, try to showcase this one more time. And that's a pretty cool thing. I do this super jump usually very fast. So, you saw me leaving the screen there. You saw me leaving the screen before the death animation completely faded away. You still saw, maybe I can, like, I enter the staircase and there's still these things here. That is showing me that this enemy won't count towards a piece of power. As you can see, after that I went through the transition, the piece of power counter didn't go up any further. But I want this 1 enemy to kill towards my piece of power counter. Because, like, you know, Bauer didn't eat that much, but I got, like, Bauer ate an average amount of enemies. But I got the acorn drop. So, I actually wait before I enter the staircase there. I actually wait before I enter the staircase so to make the death animation fade away. Oh, that was too fast. Like this. Also, really take care with acorn drops, because they might drop here, and you saw this fucking acorn didn't increase my piece of power. Which is okay. I can take an acorn drop here, but you just like should be reminded that that it's very likely that there will be acorns dropping on the way here. So whatever. Go through here. Kill those guys. Also noteworthy, I'm gonna showcase this just really quickly here. The small guys, they count as one. If I split up the big guy, it doesn't count as one. But of course, the small ones count as one each. So like, killing all those guys, counting as 5 kills. Splitting up that fat guy before I kill him, counting as 6 kills. Just keep that in mind once you fight those souls. You can do the sword out super jump and not have to wait before entering the stairs to get that key skill. Yeah, like, I mean, that also works, Disclude, whatever. You know, it's like, it should work for you at the end of the day. So, get in here, kill those guys, and my pop will drop right in here. That's beautiful. I would say the perfect way to get a pop drop in here would be if after you pop drop, the counter would be exactly 0. But since there's RNG involved, and you should basically focus on the run and not count every fucking kill you do in the run, it's okay to just have a feeling. Like, important is to get a sort of feeling on where your piece of power counter is, and then just go with the flow. Like, the piece of power routing is really something that is also coming just with doing more runs and whatnot. Of course, one recommendation from my part, is don't start routing your piece of power until you get a sub 1 hour PB in Link's Awakening DX. Before, it's really not important at all. Like, you should learn the route and then learn the route itself, and then do menu routing and piece of power routing and whatnot. So, back into the piece of power routing. Let's just continue the run. Doing the dongo skip. Oh, I thought that bomb was a little too badass, but actually still would work. Also, with a piece of power, you should keep in mind, I already got hit once. Always keep in mind that your piece of power effect wears off after you got hit 3 times in a row. So, just keep that in mind. Because you don't want to get hit too much, because we take a mandatory hit on the on the boss in this dungeon, so you shouldn't take 2 hits before entering the boss. Get at least Fab 53. Green Tunic, get out of here, man. Yeah, those are really weird splits. Also, make sure not to kill any additional enemies. It's really crucial to your routing that you don't kill any additional enemies at all from that point. Oh no. Oh no. Okay. Yeah, the dongle skip, man. Killing some more enemies here. 1, 2, 3. I usually don't wait for those keys to drop that, so they don't count towards my piece of power. And I kill the boss. And also that boss doesn't count towards a piece of power. So... it wasn't a buffer city. I actually didn't care about the buffers. So I got 10 kills with leaving dungeon 3, which is okay. The next piece of power drop we want to have is in dungeon 5. We're about to enter dungeon 4, do half of dungeon 4, get the flippers, get out again. And we want to have, in like the first or second room in dungeon 5, we want to get the piece of power. On the way to dungeon 5, there are lots of enemies which can be eaten by Bow Wow. So that's also one of the reasons why you want to have a really low piece of power count leaving dungeon 3. So I got 2 enemies after getting my piece of power in dungeon 3. So the lowest piece of power count I could have here would be 8. I'm +2, which is okay. Yeah, RNG hype indeed. Like, that's just... you gotta roll with it if you're doing this route. Skip the owl here if you can. Unbuffered bomb trigger hype. This is actually way easier on keyboard, I would say. I like to do a little skim here, I call it. I like to kill this guy, but you saw me leaving the screen here before his death animation went away. Like, you see me leaving the screen during the death animation. And that actually sets me up for another nice thing here. Because sometimes that guy wants to shoot his fucking thing down there. So I can skip that. Whatever. Okay, Bow Wow. Now starts the time where you should like keep track on how much Bow Wow is eating. Like, basically Bow Wow could potentially eat every guy you pass here. So we see there are lots of enemies. Lots and lots of enemies passing by. So Bow Wow could potentially eat all of them. So he ate 1 so far, which is okay. Do walrus skip, do it from the top if you like to do it from the top. Bow Wow can't eat those guys, he always eats that guy. He usually eats one of those guys. Didn't eat one, that's cool. That's cool with me. He... oh. Please. That is how I want to do this here. So again, my IPC, my inner piece of power counter, is not really active. I just like I just like to keep track on how much enemies Bow Wow is eating. I mean, you also could route this whole shit out and really look on how many enemies could potentially be eaten by Bow Wow. But to me, that's more stressful. Like, right now, I sort of have the feeling, okay, Bow Wow didn't eat that much yet, but he also didn't eat a lot. So, it's sort of average. Once again, he cannot eat those guys. Yeah, Bow Wow can eat. He can eat those ravens. Those crows. He can eat those. Yeah, he can eat those guys. He can eat those guys. Yeah, also make sure with the acorn drops. Like, that's one of the bullshit that can happen here. Like, I didn't get hit for a while, And if he actually wouldn't have eaten that guy, but that guy was standing right before the rock I picked up, I probably accidentally would have picked up the rock and got the acorn. So yeah, like if you got really long distances to go through with lots of enemies in them, you actually want to take a hit every now and then intentionally, just to make sure that your acorn counter is resetted. Because like acorns can be really nasty. So actually you got enough hearts, you know, the bosses there are not too difficult, also the mini bosses, so you'll get through alive. But yeah, really you should take care to get a hit every now and then. That's like really something you should have in the back of your head while running this game. He eats that guy, okay. Sometimes he's eating that guy before unlocking here. Okay. Could have eaten that guy before. Okay. So he's eating some enemies, that's okay. Ah, fuck. I don't mind. I'm good. Yeah, Buffett Rooster Skip is most of the time better than falling. Yeah. In case you're wondering, sadly Green Tunic is joking right there. Oh fuck. Do I actually know how to do this, please? Or whatever. Okay. Yeah, like don't take Green Tunic's comment seriously, because sadly Acorn effect overrides the Piece of Power effect. And also the other way around. So... Ah, shit. I should have done a save state earlier. What the hell? Yo, Dragon! Let's see, oh, that's interesting, no. Yep. It overwrites in both ways, sadly. An acorn dropping. Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, another fun fact. If your Piece of Power counter and your acorn counter is turning 30/12 at the same time, the acorn will spawn instead of the Piece of Power. Because kills that drop acorn don't count towards the Piece of Power, yeah. Like, obviously, I guess the game logic checks at first for acorn drops and then for Piece of Power drops. Because like the logic inside LEDX might also check for pop drops at first, I guess. But whatever. Glad we got that out of the way. But yeah, like towards the effect, if you got the acorn effect and you pick up the Piece of Power effect, the acorn effect gets overwritten by the Piece of Power. And the same thing the other way around. That is only interesting for you if you actually get a Piece of Power and a acorn drop in the same screen. So I had 21 kills earlier, now I'm having 18 kills, entering D4, which is pretty good. I'm actually sort of behind my piece of power counter. Like, I guess usually you're like between 18 and 25 or something. Like, hopefully not 25. That would be a lot. Like, let's say around 20. Usually you're around 20 kills entering Dungeon 4. You got some mandatory kills in D4, which also count towards a piece of power. So let's just roll with that. See where we're going. Also here I have my predetermined kill route to go through the dungeon. My IPC, my inner piece of power counter, like really, it doesn't matter as much anymore. I only use that for the Dungeon 2 piece of power. Right here I just like to sort of keep track on how much power I was eating. Also, that tactite here, if it gets killed, it counts towards a piece of power. So I usually try to avoid killing that tactite, and kind of looks like that. I jump here, yeah, but if he moves up, you basically kill that guy. Whatever. I should be fine on the keys of power. If not, reset. Oh, what the hell was that? That was actually really bad. Go through here. Go through here. Try the fastest way or whatever to get through these rooms. Kill the miniboss, and once again, minibosses count towards the piece of power, but don't drop the piece of power. So if that would have been kill number 30, the piece of power counter would have dropped to 0 again, but I wouldn't have seen the piece of power. So that is very ludicrous. If power eats really a lot on the way to D4, and you got a really high piece of power counter in D4, it might happen that the piece of power will drop from the mini-boss. And you won't even recognize it, that you missed it. Because we don't want to have it in Dungeon 4, we want to have it in Dungeon 5. So, I got like 3 or 4 more kills in D4. And I also got some more kills outside of D4. If you got a pretty high piece of power counter, power might eat that guy and or that guy. So those guys really can fuck you up your piece of power counter. You saw that guy did eat that guy. He did eat that guy while I was already in the portal. That shit can happen. Powdering anti-fairies, I'm not sure. I never tested that. Also don't worry. Power never eats those guys. Those guys are called Sauros. Actually, if you kill them, they count towards the piece of power, but that's also one of the enemies Bao doesn't like. So you can like hang out here all the time, Bao won't eat those enemies at all. So it's no problem. Yeah, so like, I'm entering D5 with a piece of power counter of 23, which is totally bamboo. Like, the best thing would be if your piece of power counter would have been something between 25 and 29. Because if your piece of power counter is between 25 and 29, you actually get the piece of power right in here. Because you kill 5 enemies. Those are 5 mandatory enemies, because you have to kill those enemies to make that door open up. Yeah. I'm now at 28, which is no biggie. I don't have the piece of power. So I'll go through here. Kill those guys. And spoilers, piece of power will drop from that guy. And now this is just my weird strats. What I like to do is when I get the piece of power that late with that guy, I sometimes try to kill those two guys here because I want to have a pretty high piece of power counter throughout Dungeon 5. Because I want to get a piece of power drop in Dungeon 6. So what I do in Dungeon 5 is I kill lots of enemies in Dungeon 5. I kill really lots of enemies in Dungeon 5 to overroll the piece of power drop once and get the piece of power drop in Dungeon 6 again. So let's see how that looks during the routing. Oh, fuck. I didn't want to get hit there just because I don't like getting hit by enemies in Dungeon 5. Oh yeah, another nice advice by Disclude. You can split the pink soul in the first room. But if actually that pink soul drops a piece of power, you're a little fucked. You're not fucked, but like it's inconvenient because you have to go back to pick up a piece of power. Whatever. Like, you'll find out your own piece of power routing. Oh fuck, what? Please. Gonna do another save state here. Okay. So, like I said, I got the piece of power very late, but I need some extra kills. But I also need that small key here. Okay. So leaving that room, my counter is at 2. That's a little low, but it's okay. I don't mind that much. We got 2 mandatory kills coming up here. Oh, don't try to get hit like I just did. It's bad. I kill those guys. I also kill those guys. And you can see me like going really fast through the dungeon. With the help of the piece of power, of course. And as you can see, those mini-bosses not counting towards the piece of power. And I actually fucked up my menu. Nah, should be alright. And I screwed. I wasted too many arrows before, so what the fuck. I'm missing a few arrows. Killing stealth is number 2. Going through here. I always kill that guy. And usually it's enough time for also for those guys to till the death animation like shows up. Because you like I said before, you wanna see the death animation. Also kill those 2 guys. Now I usually do it differently. I usually like go through here with my sword charge and do a spin slash. Sometimes that guy gets killed in time. Yeah, so like you can see I'm killing really lots of enemies. Also going for the safe strats here, not equipping, not doing the naked super jump. So I'm going through here, up, killing those 2 guys. They also count towards a piece of power, of course. Go through here. Nice jump. And now I'm at 20 kills, which is okay. I always kill those guys. And I always kill those 2 guys. Always kill that guy. And sometimes if that guy gets in my way, this guy is getting also killed. So, like I said, that's just my predetermined menu route, my predetermined kill route. jump through here, load up my sword, and I enter this room and kill those two guys at least, kill that guy. 5 more mandatory kills. And you saw in that room my piece of power counter going from 29 back to 0. Because I already have the piece of power. And just a reminder in that case, if you already have the piece of power or the acorn effect, there will be no more acorn or piece of power drops until the effect wears off. So since I already have the piece of power effect, my piece of power counter dropped from 29 directly to 0 again. And yeah, so I overrode the whole thing. POP overrides POP, yeah, like... don't listen to me if I'm telling nonsense. And gotta take the long way home here. Oh. Shit. Yo, Stanner. Okay. So what do we have here? I got 5 kills on my piece of power counter, which is okay. Going through the rest of the dungeon. Got 2 mandatory kills coming up with those 2 guys. Oh. Always kill that keys. Well, it didn't count towards piece of power because I was too fast leaving the screen there. Those 3 guys always count towards a piece of power. And I made my way through the underground section. Also probably noteworthy, hopping on enemies like on those cheep-cheeps. You can see those don't count towards a piece of power. On the other hand, killing them count towards a piece of power. Same thing with goombas. If you hop on goombas, they always give you a heart. If you kill them with your sword, they always drop... No, they not always drop a rupee, but... Rule of thumb is killing enemies with your sword counts towards a piece of power. Hopping on enemies, like Super Mario style, doesn't count towards a piece of power. So, back to the routing. I like to kill one or both of these guys here. We got 3 mandatory kills in here. Actually, should take a hit. Go through here, do the jump strats if you really like to. Oh, bad. Okay. And we got the Dungeon 5 mini-boss. Not mini-boss, sadly the final boss. Which is a fucking pain in the ass. You know it, I know it. Let's try to 2-cycle this guy. Please? Oh, that weird shit, man. Sometimes, if he... Like, I didn't pull him out long enough, far enough. Still, the last hit didn't count. Yeah, this boss, man. So, I'm at 17 kills, which is kind of good, I would say. Like, I never really POP routed the game that far. But having 17 kills should be fine. Because now we go through the Almost Maze, and there will be lots of kills from Bow Wow. So Bow Wow will eat some enemies in there. He doesn't eat those guys. You can't eat those guys. Those count towards a piece of power. Those cucumbers or whatever you want to call them. Bow Wow sometimes eats the bomb fairies, I guess. Can he eat the bomb fairies? I'm not sure. Anyway, bomb fairies also count towards a piece of power. Kill those guys. Oh, 19 should be still okay, I guess. I don't know, but like Bow Wow, I guess Bow Wow is eating like an average between, let's say 5 to 10 enemies in the almost maze. So I guess leaving dungeon 5 with 19 enemies should be okay. You can see Bow Wow hopping around here, but didn't eat anything, which is okay. Oh fuck, really? Messing up boot strats. Boot strats go! I forgot to say boot strats go. If I say boot strats go, then they work every time. Easy every time. So I'm at 21. Bow Wow should eat like 5 additional enemies, I guess, on the way to D6. That's 1, 2. He always eats one of those guys, by the way. 3, 4, 5, okay. 6, oh Jesus. 7, yeah. Let's see. 29, okay, this is fucked. No, actually, there's a thing happening which we don't want to have. And that is the early piece of power drop in D6. Shit. And it will drop with that guy. Oh! How about that? The piece of power counter is at 30. Ah, because there's... that's actually nice to have. What? It overflows? That's weird. Why is it overflowing? Interesting. It's at 35. Oh, yes. Gosh, fuck, man. I forgot to mention that. Thank you guys so much for watching and clearing that. I totally forgot about that. Yeah, after 7 hearts, it's the piece of power drops with 35 kills. And after 10 hearts, I guess, after you have 10 hearts, piece of power drops with at 40 kills. Like I said, I never piece of power roaded the way through that. Which is actually fucking great, because having 33 kills, that is being 2 kills away from my piece of power drop, which is really fucking nice. 12 hearts for 40, okay, or 10, 12, whatever. Like, you see the problem with Bow Wow eating so many guys in almost maze and whatnot. It's really hard to keep track of. 11 hearts, okay. So, I'm entering dungeon 6 with actually 1 fucking arrow, which is really not good. But with 33 kills, which is perfect. You wanna enter dungeon 6 being, like, I don't know, being, let's say 1 to 5 kills away with your piece of power. That's actually really perfect. Because I enter dungeon 6. If I have more arrows, I kill that mini Moldrum right there. If not, I just go through here. Pull the switch, flip the switch over. Bomb through that room here, and yeah. What I want to have is the piece of power drop with 1 of those souls. Because I pick up the piece of power and I do a menu with that. Yeah, and so what can you take away from this? I don't really have a predetermined menu route. Like, no, I have a predetermined menu route still for Dungeon 4 and Dungeon 5. But I'm not really keeping track on how much Bow Wow is eating. It's more of doing runs, getting a feeling on how much Bow Wow is eating. Like, if Bow Wow wants to fuck you over, he fucks you over. There's nothing you can do. Yo, Steve Parker, have a good night. Actually, this is also the end of my Piece of Power tutorial, because after that it's getting really messy with Piece of Power drops. I mean, you don't really can utilize a Piece of Power in Dungeon 7. Also, having a Piece of Power drop in Dungeon 7 is very unlikely. But you want to have... oh, gosh. Yeah. Yeah, but having the Piece of Power in Dungeon 6 really helps. So. Gotta adjust that. /35. So now it makes sense again. And cut, yeah. Like, basically that's where the Piece of Power route ends. After that it's only messing around. Try to avoid acorns. Although one recommendation, you really don't want to have the Piece of Power in Dungeon 8. It's actually helpful on because you're moving faster through the dungeon, although it's not saving that much time towards not having the Piece of Power. But having the Piece of Power really fucks up your jump pattern at the big key room, because you have to do the floor tile puzzle in the big key with the big key room. And if you do jumps during solving the tile puzzle, the jumps are way farther than as they would be without the Piece of Power. So, don't get the Piece of Power in Dungeon 7 or 8. You probably won't anyway, because you don't kill any enemies at all in Dungeon 7, and also you do not kill lots of enemies in Dungeon 8. But yeah, I can really recommend getting the Piece of Power in Dungeon 6. I didn't compare the routes, but I guess Piece of Power in Dungeon 6 saves a decent amount of time. Let's put it that way. Should be a decent amount of time. Oh, please. Because you jump faster and whatnot. Also you can... well, you can do that strat without the Piece of Power. Whatever. But you're like just going really fast through the dungeon. So! Yeah. That's the Piece of Power tutorial. The updated Piece of Power tutorial. Although... let me check if I have a save state on that. Because there was another thing I should test here. On the Bombites. I guess they're called Bombites, right? I actually don't have to kill these guys. This is save state number 7. So... can you kill those guys with a hookshot? Ah, okay. So if you kill those guys with the bomb arrows, you see they get the usual animation when you kill someone. Oopsa. Like, or if you kill them with bombs. I actually didn't know you could kill those guys with bombs. Do I have a save state for that? No. Actually, that's interesting. Does that also apply for Yosnes? Ah, yeah. Okay. So, noteworthy. If you kill those guys with bombs, they count towards a piece of power. If they just explode, like you will see in a few seconds, if they just explode, they don't count towards a piece of power. Yeah, that's like really important. But that would apply for both of those enemies. No, but that doesn't apply for Whiz Ropes or Paul's voices. So, good thing we talked about that. So with the Bombites, Jesus. It actually depends on how you kill those guys. I mean, like, I know when you had to get that small key, it would have been definitely faster to bomb arrows to these guys. Well, okay. Yeah, but, on the other hand, yeah, those guys, the way you kill them in this run, they are exploding and they do not count towards a piece of power. That's what you like should remember when you piece of power out your thing in here. But like keep in mind that the weird pulse voices and the whiz ropes don't count. Don't count towards a piece of power, no matter on no matter what way you choose to kill them. Yeah. So, just let me check. Let me check for how long the stream has been on. 1.5 hours. Okay, so that's like quite the lengthy tutorial again, and I hope I didn't overdo many of the topics towards piece of power and acorn and whatnot. But I think I at least I think I like shared every detail about piece of power knowledge that is out there at the moment. So yeah, like feel free to use my piece of power route if you feel like it. Feel free to do your own piece of power routing if you already got a sub 1 hour run. This will be on Discord and on the guides and tutorials on the speedrunning pages and whatnot. So, I actually think I'm gonna cut the stream for now. Already 2 AM around here. Thanks for watching. Have fun routing your piece of power. And I'll see you soon. Just gotta see if there's something nice to host here. Maybe we got some other piece of power tutorial this evening. No, we don't have. Okay, whatever. I'm just gonna cut the stream. There's nothing nice to host. So I'll see you around. Take care.